manager. I'm going to check my makeup. Perfect. My makeup is perfect. This is the exact shade of lipstick I want to use. I'll go to use the stuff you can paint fire engines with.
Someone's coming. Talitha, please, get out of there.
This'll be great. A trial run.
Just then, Ruby Blankenship swept into the room.
What are you winkle children doing here? Nothing has happened to your family in years.
Before we could answer her, she spotted Talitha lying in the casket with her hands peacefully folded across her stomach.
What? It must have been soon. I haven't heard a word about it. Whoa. Look at that stupid grand olive tree blood on her face. This whole town goes down smiling. But she does look quite natural, doesn't she, kids? She almost looks alive. So, what'd she die of?
I don't rightly know, ma'am.
What do you mean you don't know? Was it her heart? Some disease she picked up in Africa? Her liver? I bet it was her liver. You kids probably didn't know this, but your grandmother was quite the heavy drinker back in the day. Yeah, I remember she left her granddaddy right in the middle of the Depression. I remember because I brought a casserole over to his house. Yep, I bet she has quite a bit of explaining to do with the Lord Almighty. So when's the funeral?
I'm not rightly sure, ma'am.
Well, when did she die?
Please, ma'am. I'm too upset to talk about it.
Oh, there is no reason to be upset, young lady. Death is a natural thing, and the Black Horseman will come for all of us one day to take us up to the judgment seat. The best we can do is try to be prepared for when this time comes. Now, I know you kids are upset because you know that your grandmother's probably singeing ahead at this very second. But that was her decision. She chose to live this lifestyle, and it should be a sign to all of us to try to live better lives here on Earth. Now, here's a piece of juicy fruit. It helps you not cry, it freshens your breath.
Just as she handed a piece of juicy fruit over to Leah, my grandmother stopped her by reaching out and grabbing hold of her wrist. Talitha, sitting erect out of the casket, then took the piece of gum, unwrapped it, put it in her mouth, and lay back down, slowly chewing the gum. There was a moment of complete and utter silence in the room, until Ruby Blankenship screamed and bolted for the door. I heard her taking the steps, 3 at a time.
I knew that way out.
In the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock, our character, Prufrock, is an isolated man who is conditioned to society in such a way that he is innervated by spiritual and sexual encounters. By characterizing him such, T.S. Eliot can dramatize the dilemma of a man suffering from social paralysis. Prufrock is a man standing outside of a door, looking in. He doesn't know what will happen in this event. He's just hoping that his date will love him. But he knows what will happen if it goes wrong, because this could be his last shot. This is the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock by T.S. Eliot. Let us go then, you and I, when the evening is spread out against the sky, like a patient etherized upon a table. Let us go through certain half-deserted streets, the muttering retreats of restless nights in one-night cheap hotels and sawdust restaurants with oyster shells, streets that fall like a tedious argument of insidious intent. They lead you to an overwhelming question. Oh, do not ask what is it. Let us go and make our visit. In the room the women come and go, talking with Michelangelo. The yellow fog that rubs its back upon the window panes, the yellow smoke that rubs its muzzle on those window panes, licked its tongue into the corners of the evening, lingered upon the pools that stand in drains, let fall upon its back the soot that falls from chimneys, slipped by the terrace, made us suddenly, and seeing that it was a soft October night, curled once about the house and fell asleep. And indeed, there will be time for that yellow smoke that slides along the street, rubbing its back upon the window panes. There will be time. There will be time to prepare a face to meet the faces that you meet, and time to murder and create, and time for all the works and days of hands that lift and drop a question on your plate. Time for you and time for me, and time yet for 100 indecisions, and for 100 visions and revisions before the taking of a toast and tea. In the room, the women come and go, talking with Michelangelo. And indeed, there will be time to wonder, do I dare? And do I dare? Time to turn back and just in the stare. With a bald spot in the middle of my hair, they will say, how his arms and legs are thin. With a bald spot in the middle, my morning coat, my collar mounted firmly to the chin, my necktie rich and modest, but asserted by a simple pin. They will say, how his hair is growing thin. Do I dare disturb the universe? In a minute there is time for decisions and revisions which a minute will reverse. For I have known them all already, known them all. Have known the evenings, mornings, and afternoons. I have measured out my life with coffee spoons. I know the voices dying with the dying fall beneath the music from a further room. So how should I presume? And I have known the eyes already, known them all. The eyes that fix you in a formulated phrase, and when I am formulated, sprawling on a pin, and when I am pinned, wriggling on the wall, then how should I begin to spit out the butt ends of my days and ways? And how should I presume? And I've known the arms already, known them all. Arms that are braceleted and white and bare, but in the lamplight, down with light brown hair. Is it perfume from a dress that makes me so digress? Arms that lie along a table, or wrap about a shawl. And should I then presume? And how should I begin? Shall I say, I have gone at dusk through narrow streets, and watched the smoke that rises from pipes of lonely men in shirt sleeves leaning out of windows. I should have been a pair of ragged claws, scuttling across the floors of silent seas. And the afternoon, the evening sleeps so peacefully, smoothed by long fingers, asleep, tired, or malingers, stretched on the floor here beside you and me. Should I, after teas and cakes and ices, have the strength to force this moment to its crisis? But though I have wept and fasted, wept and prayed, though I have seen my head, grown slightly bald, brought in upon a platter, I am no prophet, and here's no great matter. I have seen the moment of my greatness flicker, and I have seen the eternal footman hold my coat and snicker. And in short, I was afraid. And would it have been worth it after all? After the cups, the marmalade, the tea, among the porcelain, among some talk of you and me, would it have been worthwhile to have bitten off the matter with a smile, to have squeezed the universe into a ball, to roll it towards some overwhelming question, to say, I am Lazarus, come from the dead. I have come back to tell you all. I shall tell you all. If one settling a pillow by her head should say, that is not what I meant at all. That is not it at all. And would it have been worth it, after all? Would it have been worthwhile, after the sunsets in the dooryards and the sprinkled streets, after the novels, after the teacups, after the skirts that trail along the floor, and this, and so much more? It is impossible to say just what I mean, but as if a magic lantern threw the nerves on a pattern on a screen, would it have been worthwhile if one, settling a pillow or throwing off the shawl, and turning toward the window, should say, that is not it at all. That is not what I meant, at all. No, I am not Prince Hamlet, nor is meant to be. Am an attendant lord, one that will do, to swell a progress, start a scene or two. Advise the prince, no doubt an easy tool, differential, glad to be of use. Politic, cautious, and meticulous, full of high sins, but a bit obtuse. At times, indeed, almost ridiculous. At times, almost the fool. I grow old. I grow old. I shall wear the bottoms of my trousers rolled. Shall I part my hair behind? Do I dare to eat a peach? I shall wear my flannel trousers and walk upon the beach. I have heard the mermaids singing, each to each. I do not think they will sing to me. I've seen them riding seaward on the waves blown back, combing the white hair of the waves blown back, when the wind blows the water, white and black. We have lingered in the chambers of the sea, by sea girls reed with seaweed red and brown, till human voices wake us, and we drown.
True. Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous, I had been. And am. But why will you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. How then am I mad? Hearken! And observe how calmly, how healthfully I can tell you the whole story. The Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. One of his eyes resembled that of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so, by degrees, I made up my mind to rid myself of the eye forever. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded. Every night, I turned the latch of his door and opened it. Oh, so gently. And then, when I had made an opening sufficient for my head, I put in a lantern and thrust in my head. I moved slowly. Very, very slowly. It took me an hour to place my whole head in the opening so that I could see him as he lay upon his bed. And then, when my head was in the room, I undid the lantern cautiously. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray shot from the crevice and fell upon the vulture eye. And this I did for 7 long nights. But I found the eye always closed, and so it was impossible to do the work, for it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. Upon the 8th night, I was more than usually cautious in opening the door. I had my head and was about to open the lantern, when my thumb slipped and the old man sprang up in his bed, crying out, "Who's there?" For a whole hour, I did not move a muscle. In the meantime, I did not hear him lie down. I heard a light groan, and I knew it was the groan of mortal terror. It was the low, stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul. Death, in approaching him, had stalked with his black shadow before him and enveloped the victim. And it was the mournful influence of the unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, although he neither saw nor heard, to feel the presence of my head within the room. When I had waited a long time, I resolved to open a very, very little crevice in the lantern. I opened it, you cannot imagine how stealthily, until a single dim ray shot from the crevice and fell on the vulture eye. It was open. Wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. There came to my ears a low, dull, quick sound, such as a watch makes when enveloping cotton. It was the beating of the old man's heart. I scarcely breathed. Meantime, the hellish temperature of the heart increased. It grew quicker and quicker and louder every instant. The old man's terror must have been extreme. It grew louder and louder every moment. I thought the heart must burst. And now, a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by a neighbor. I threw open the lantern and leapt into the room. He shrieked once. Once only. In an instant, I dragged him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him. I then smiled gaily to find the deed done. But for many minutes, the heart beat on with a muffled sound. At length, it ceased. Yes. He was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it there many minutes.